Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to the extremely late edition of Sunday Ramblings. Extremely late, completely due to my fault. It is now currently, as of 2 minutes ago, Sunday, December 29th. I am recording this. I actually normally record a little bit earlier in the nighttime, so I have time to actually edit and render. I will be burning the midnight oil tonight. Literally, I got home, a few hours ago, and I was, just enjoying some, Reddit while listening to one of Vintage Beef's recent videos, and looked at the time and realized, oh crap, I haven't recorded Cube World yet. So here I am. So don't expect too many boss battles in this episode. I don't think I have the energy. We'll see what happens. What I do have the energy for, though, is talking about all the crazy stuff that has been I've been working on and goings on and all kinds of other things. I am now officially 1 week into a 2 week vacation from work, so I am this week, though, as much as I wanted to get a ton of things done and recorded, I did actually get a bunch of things recorded and ready to go. But I had plans for many more, and then I realized, I looked at the calendar later and realized, I got a lot of family stuff I have to do first. So this week has been a little bit of everything, getting a lot of family stuff together and going to meet family and do all that fun stuff. And at the same time, try to get some quality recording time in, which I did manage to do. It's quite amazing, actually. And I've been having just a ton of fun this week. I now understand why there are YouTubers out there who do this full time. I couldn't quite understand it beforehand because it does get to be a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? It gets to be a little bit hectic. You know what I mean? You're turning a hobby into something that now needs to put food on the table, and it sort of turns it on its head, if you will. Whereas I get to do this just for fun, they have to do do it as a business type of thing. But then, getting an entire day to just sit down and play games and record, actually has been very fun and very liberating, if you will. I don't think that I could do it every day, but it's nice to know that when every so often I can get something done, and I can do that. Speaking of that, some of the things I've been working on, I've had quite a few, since I've had time now, I've had quite a few sort of ideas that have come through my head, and directions that I'm sort of taking the channel in a little bit. As you know from the previous episodes that I've recorded of this, I've talked about how I'm trying to keep a good variety going on the channel, and I think I have that now. I think there's a direction I'm going in that will allow for some of that, because there are so many channels out there that are just one thing, and it's not to say that's a bad thing. I mean, it works. It's you enjoy one thing, you play it, you do a good job of it. It allows you to focus. You're not as your attention isn't as drawn in different places, and the quality of your videos tends to go up because you're so focused on something. Me, I since this is a hobby for me, I tend to jump around a lot with a lot of different things, which might be a good thing too, because it gives you all kinds of different little games that I've been playing and dealing with. Even though most of them are science fiction in nature, because that is my big passion. I do jump into other things as well, like the Sword to Go stuff, and regular RPGs and all that fun stuff. But what I've had the opportunity to do this week is actually, and I've been thinking about this for a while, getting into just do multiplayer stuff, because there's a lot of games out there that I have played off camera that I enjoy, but they are like strictly multiplayer centric, or maybe they are multiplayer variants of a single player game. For instance, if I were to ever do a Cube World multiplayer thing, it wouldn't be a full-fledged series like the single player, but it would be something nice to do from time to time. Although I doubt I'll find anybody with any servers that I'd be willing to go on, because it's just the game has been kind of neglected for long enough that you can't even get a decent thread going on Reddit without having the naysayers show up and party poop on you. But what I'm alluding to here is I decided, and I kind of decided this is one of those things that's been in my head for a while, and I wasn't sure how I would do it. When I originally was thinking about my channel, I was like, I would like to do multiplayer games, but I kind of wanted to do it as a streaming thing, go on Twitch. Like I even created an account on Twitch that has nothing on it right now. But my initial thing was, I would do like the single player stuff on YouTube, and then maybe I would do, multiplayer streaming stuff on Twitch. That way I could pick games that maybe are fairly popular or that other people could join in with, and then, could play with people live, on Twitch and do all that streaming and stuff. Thing is, you can't really that's sort of like the long-term thing, right? That's like way down the line. That's when you have, thousands of subscribers, and you can, say to them, hey, I'm going to go stream right now, and, I'm going to be playing these games. If you own any of these games, feel free to join me, that kind of thing. It's not something that I could do right now and, and expect any kind of turnout. But at the same time, there's a lot of these games that I'm enjoying a heck of a lot of, and there's more coming out that I just wanted to, do some videos on. So I thought, well, let's make a series out of this. And that's where sort of Pub Crawl came from. Really, it was me looking at the Play Mindcrack server, which is a multiplayer Minecraft thing by the Mindcrack guys, and saying, okay, I would like to do a video of this, but this is not something I could do as a regular series, right? It's something that I could maybe get one video out of, but I wanted to do more, but there was no way that I could think in my mind to do more without it being extremely repetitive, because there's really only one game that I enjoy on there right now, as far as that goes. So that was sort of the thing, that was the impetus to get me to think, well, since I wanted to do this multiplayer thing for a while, why don't I just do sort of a variety show where I say, every week I just pick some multiplayer game or some game that has a multiplayer mode in it, even if it has a single player as well, and whatever I feel like, and just, play a little bit of it, and then I could do a rotation. That way, I can go back on the Play Minecraft server whenever I feel like it, and play a few games, and then go play some other game for a little bit, go play another game after that for a little bit, and just have a nice little rotation there. That way there's always something. It also adds that variety to the channel that I've been looking for, and it's sort of, it's clicking in my head, and I'm really enjoying it. In fact, I spent almost an entire day, Thursday actually, just doing that, just doing multiplayer stuff. I was on play Minecraft for a little bit just to kind of tone my skills a little bit. Also to record the strategy guide thing that I did, where I went on their season 3 museum server and kind of did a walk around. That's already out on the channel, so feel free to go take a look at that if you're so interested. And then also I decided to jump into a little bit of spoilers for upcoming episodes here. The one episode you'll see this week, I jumped into Star Conflict. That was the one that I couldn't think of the name of for the longest time. Every time I tried to explain it. That's ready to go for today, your time, Sunday. Well, actually, I guess it's my time now as well, as of 13 minutes ago. So that's ready to go for today. I also played on Thursday one game of Awesomenauts, and I have that recorded. The only reason I did one game of it is because it ended up being about half an hour, because those games can run pretty long. And it's like a Dota-like game, only it's 2D. Excuse me. And so those games can last, especially if you're playing with fairly decent people. Those games can last, half an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes longer. So yeah, that took the whole 45 minutes with just the one game. But I enjoyed it. I have to look over. I haven't edited it yet, but I have to re-listen to it and make sure that make sure that the commentary is there. I feel like it was there, but it was like the last thing I recorded on Thursday, and I had already recorded a bunch of other things, so it may be that I was just really tired. I don't know. I have a feeling like the commentary sounds like I'm really tired and really not with it. I haven't listened to it yet though, so we'll see. Maybe I might have to go re-record a new one. We'll see. But in any case, that will be the third episode. Will be Awesomenauts, and then after that, I'm thinking about jumping back into Disco Dodgeball again, and maybe do some other things like it's been ages and ages since I've played Realm of the Mad God. So I might want to jump back into that as well. And I'm waiting for Phoenix Universe of Space Combat to come out. That there should be a demo of that any day now. I don't know. That was the last sort of update that I got from that. It was there would be a demo any day now. So hopefully I can get that into the rotation as well, and then eventually go back to the Play Minecraft server, because they're still introducing new maps, and they're still in beta right now. But I think it sounds like they're getting close to going to full release on that, and they're going to have another map. It sounds like another survival map. So I definitely want to get back into that as well, get another recording of that done. So this is fun stuff for me, because this is kind of thing that I had envisioned initially when I was thinking about what I would do on the channel, but I couldn't do it right away. Again, because I was thinking about the whole streaming thing, but also because I didn't have the what word am I trying to find here? I didn't have the stamina yet to do it. Again, as I've mentioned a few times, I don't speak often. I don't talk a lot. Even though you can look at my channel here and see a bunch of 45-minute long rants about things, and jaunts, I should say, about things. This is very much the not normal for me. And when I first started out, my videos were 15 minutes, not only because I was still under the 15-minute limit, but also because I just couldn't I couldn't last longer than 15 minutes. Let's put it that way. It was a lot of effort, and it turns out, after I've gotten about 70 videos now done. I think I'm just over 70 videos now up there. I've finally gotten to a point now where I can talk for a half an hour, 45 minutes, and not be so worn out. I still get worn out, but I can do several of those sessions before I start to really feel feel terrible. I mean, case in point, it's 12:17 in the morning right now, and I'm actually pretty hyped up right now. Like I've said a few times before, I enjoy these Sunday ramblings probably the most of all my videos, because I can just be pretty freeform. I don't have to be the typical YouTuber that's like commenting on every goddamn thing on the screen. You know what I mean? I could sort of, even though I have to manage this damn freaking penguin who can't get back into into here, I have to keep my eyes on the screen and sort of pay attention to what's going on. At the same time, I can just be free form and talk about whatever I feel like, instead of having to focus on every little thing that's happening in front of me. So that said, I've been just so psyched up about that stuff. I really enjoy it. I'm hoping to keep on doing that. I'm hoping I can get enough of a runway on that can be a weekly thing. Right now I'm getting some runway. I don't have a whole lot. I intend to get some more going. Especially this next week where I have more time to just do recordings. I foresee that it will be problematic eventually when I run out of backlog for it, because it does take a lot of time. And let me preface that it doesn't take a lot of time because there's not a whole lot of editing that I need to do, because it's just me sitting there during one play session, with the exception of editing out where I'm waiting for, I'm joining a game and I'm waiting for the game to start. I mean, that stuff it's pretty easy to edit that stuff, because I just stop talking, and then when I go through Vegas and look at it, I just find all the spots where there's no commentary, and just go, cut. Onto the floor with you. So that, even though there's editing there, it's not as difficult as editing some other things that I have to deal with. But at the same time, I've got these other series that are going that I want to maintain, and I just keep putting more and more series on top of me, and eventually I'm gonna hit that threshold where I can't do anything anything regular anymore. Like, all the series will be whatever they are. There won't be a regular weekly thing. Maybe it'll be every other week or something like that. I foresee that time coming sooner rather than later. So there's a few things that I want to tackle here as far as games that have gone on. I have a list here of things I didn't get to last time that are really cool, and I wanted to talk about. I just obviously ran out of time. And a few other updates here as well from this week. So first of all, let's get a small Kickstarter update. This is really the only one that I can update at the moment, because it's the only one I looked up. There's another one here that I have listed, but I can save that one because I don't know what I didn't look it up to see what it actually what the end result actually was. But I did the Tiny Trek Kickstarter, which I've mentioned a few times along the way. They met their goal a long time ago, but it just finally ended this week. The Kickstarter, they ended up with $9,428, which was over the. They were originally looking for $4,000, so that they well surpassed that, almost. Well, actually, more than doubled it, obviously. What that also means is that one of their stretch goals at $8,000 was the server-based content sharing, where players can upload any custom content they have created, and or for that matter, custom weapons and all that stuff that you can do in the game, and you can upload them and share them with other players. So that is awesome. That is terrific. That is going to be in there as well. And also another note that came through this week, they've opened up a PayPal account as well. The developer of Tiny Trek has. So even if you've missed out on the Kickstarter, you can go on to the Kickstarter page that they have there, and I'll leave the links as usual in the description. And you can go pay through PayPal. You can donate a certain amount of money through PayPal, and whatever amount you donate through PayPal will count towards the same tiers that us Kickstarter people had. So if you donate, $15, you would get the same tier that relates to in Kickstarter. The dev will honor it. So it's by no means over and done with. You can feel free to get in on it and enjoy the same perks that the rest of us are going to have. So that is awesome. Also, and this is, I feel incredibly remiss at not tackling these games last week. I wanted to. They were on my list. It's just I simply ran out of time, and it's unfortunate because these are really, really have me excited as far as all the games that are upcoming here. First and foremost, at the Spike VGXs, which used to be the old VGA or Video Game Awards, and now they're the Video Game Experience, or who the hell knows what it is anymore. They don't give out awards anymore. They just advertise now, I guess. During that, there was a one of the main features that came out of that whole shenanigans is a game that's called, the announcement of a new game called No Man's Sky. And I saw the trailer for this. It was picked up several weeks ago by pretty much all the major outlets. It's has everybody very excited, and honestly, I can see why. It has a tremendous amount of potential. It's a completely procedurally generated game, and as much as the devs are going to hate it when I say this, it is Minecraft in space. Probably more so than what is that other game? I cannot remember the name of it. It's space something maybe. I can't. There's another blocky voxel game out there where you can build spaceships and whatnot, and sort of go onto planets, but all the planets are like these oval-shaped things. And the name just completely escapes me right now. It's a shame too, because I just was reading it on Reddit. I'm part of the subreddit that game has, and I was just reading updates on it, and the name of it's completely escaped me. But basically, yes, this is you go. The cool thing about it is you go seamlessly from planet to space. So you're on a planet, you can mine resources, you can just hop into your fighter, fly off, and go right out into space, without any loading screens or any of that nonsense, right? But on top of that, that in and of itself is pretty cool. That does not differentiate itself from some of the other games that are out there, though. What does start to differentiate it, though, is that there is a multiplayer. How can I put this? There's a multiplayer component to it that isn't immediately obvious. It's sort of like, and I think the devs have have likened this themselves to sort of Journey, the game on the PS3, I believe it was, called Journey, where it was a single-player game, but as you traveled around the world, you would encounter other players, and you would help each other out. And you had no control over who you encountered. You would just encounter somebody at random, and you could help each other out. You could hurt each other, I suppose. And it was kind of drop in, drop out. Very much like Dark Souls as well, I've seen it compared to, where there were parts of that game, that game was single player, but there were parts of it where you could fight, like other players would come into your world and you could fight them. I don't remember the technical terms for that. It was like, they were like souls or something, or, bad mojo souls or whatever. This No Man's Sky also seems to have that component to it, where you can, first of all, the emphasis is on exploration and discovery, the whole game. So when you go around and you explore the universe, as you discover new planets and, along your journey, you'll get credit for them, right? You'll get credit for the discovery of those planets. But on top of that, there are also sort of consequences to that, right? So you discover this planet. This planet now appears on other people's star maps. It also, the unique aspects of that planet, so the mining, any species of animals that are on there, those kinds of things, resources and animals, those also become available to other players. So if you go on the planet and say it's very rich in a particular mineral that you need, if someone else sees that, they could potentially deplete the world of its resources before you can get to it. Even though you'll never see them in your instance of the game, your instance of the game will sync up with others, and resource amounts and all that stuff will be affected by it. They also mentioned that you could, as a player, kill an entire species of, say, bird on a planet, and that would then propagate out to the other players, and anyone else who came to that planet would no longer be able to hunt for that bird because it would be completely extinct. And they're saying that they're keeping it to just major events. Like, you could, if you did something minor, like I built a house somewhere, it's probably not going to, show up on anyone else's, in anyone else's worlds or copies of the universe. But if you do large sweeping things, those will potentially propagate. So that's pretty cool. I like that idea. That's a really cool idea. I like that idea in Journey too, but Journey was one of those things where it was a little too art house for my taste, and I tend to not enjoy the art house games as much as other people do. A good example of that is the Stanley Parable, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more again, because it has come up in several end of the year lists here. A lot of people just really, really enjoyed that game. I really thought it was kind of stupid. I played it for a half an hour and I've never touched it again. It's just one of those things. Another example is Mirror Moon EP. A lot of people were like, "Oh, this is great. This is so artsy fartsy and all that crap." And I was like, "Well, let me try it and see why everybody's losing their shit over it." And it's I played it 20 minutes of it and never touched it again. I mean, it's one of those things, right? It's like, to me, it's not that it's a bad game. It's just not the type of game that I can get a whole lot of enjoyment out of. So I like that I like the mechanic that it introduced. I don't, we'll see how the game is. I mean, again, sci-fi games tend to override all my other judgments. So, this is definitely something on my list of things that I am waiting to see more information about. Unfortunately, a kind of side note here, No Man's Sky was introduced, or is being developed by a company called Hello Games. I've been following them on Twitter. They actually, Christmas Eve, their studio actually got flooded out. One of the rivers near them flooded its banks and flooded their studio out, as well as a bunch of houses. And they, just came out and said that they tried talking to their insurance company, and they won't cover floods. So they've lost a whole bunch of equipment, a whole bunch of amenities in their house, but in their studio. But it doesn't sound like they've lost anything that can't be easily replaced. Like, there was no word on where their code base was and what kind of backup strategy they had, but seeing as though they haven't been freaking out about it, I'm guessing that they had proper off-site backups and everything else. It's just more equipment related things that they have to replace. They did have apparently a very bitchin' server that they've lost, but those kinds of things it's not as earth-shattering to lose that as it is to lose the non-physical goods, right? Like losing things that you've worked hours and hours and hours on, code and art assets and all that stuff. That would be more devastating than losing the physical stuff, because the way things work these days, as long as the virtual stuff is intact, the physical hardware can be swapped out at a moment's notice. You know what I mean? So hopefully everything is good there. Hopefully all their assets, all their important assets are salvageable and good to go there. So No Man's Sky, something to keep an eye out for. I'll leave a few links around in the description so you can go take a look at it. There's a video out there that is pretty freaking awesome. It doesn't show much, but it does. It will. What it does well. Let's put it that way. And another game that I have neglected to talk about yet, and it has me quite interested, is Firefly Online. That has been announced. I, of course, being a sci-fi guy, I loved all the Firefly stuff. Kind of sad that the TV series didn't continue on longer than it was, but big fan of that. And this one is going to be, this is one of those things where it can either be tremendously good or just tremendously mediocre. That's the way these things tend to go, right? Because it's going to be an RPG, it's going to be an MMO RPG. Okay, so right away, all those alarm bells start going off in your head, like, is this going to be, Star Trek Online, or is this going to be Star Wars Galaxies? You know what I mean? The early Star Wars Galaxies before they really screwed the pooch on it, right? It could be one or the other. There's that whole big range in there. So I'm hoping it's more towards the towards the better range of the early Star Wars Galaxies, which I never actually played, but I've heard it was tremendously awesome. Rather than the Star Trek Online, which I have played. It's okay. It's merely okay. It's basically how I can describe Star Trek Online. It's merely okay. I got tired of it after a while. And I'm a big Star Trek fan. And if I get tired of something, then it's, buyer beware. But in the Firefly Online thing, this is being developed with 20th Century Fox, Sparkplug Games, QMX Interactive. I have no idea what any of them have done other than 20th Century Fox as far as MMOs go, so maybe this will be the breakout hit that they need. Maybe this will be something else. We'll see. But from what I can tell, you play as a ship captain, you can hire crew, and then you just do adventures with it. So it'll probably have a little bit of the Knights of the Old Republic feel to it as well, but probably more space-based. Well, I don't know. I mean, Firefly was not really that space-based, to be honest. They did more on planet surface than they did out in the black. So we'll see. I don't know yet. I've seen some GIFs. They put some animated GIFs out there of several of the ships. So everything's looking pretty good. So we'll see. We'll see. Just something else to keep your eye on. Of course, I will leave links to that in the description as always. Also, a little side note. I have been following the Elite Dangerous game as well. I don't have much of an update on that other than to say that recently, a few weeks ago, their store opened, the Elite Dangerous store opened, where you can get into the beta access and several other things. You could also get into alpha access. I don't have alpha access. I have beta. I put enough in to get to a beta level. The alpha is like, the closed alpha access is something like 200 British pounds, which that's a little too rich for my blood. Especially being an American and the exchange rate being what it is. That's too much for me. So I will be waiting for the beta to come out. From what I've heard from people who have had the alpha, or from what I've read about it or written about it, it's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn awesome. I've seen some videos. The videos are all looking like they should. So I'm anticipating it. I'm waiting and watching, as always. So, with what remains of, I'm not really going to do any more battles right now. I'm just going to try to get my character situated as far as equipment goes. But while I do that, I want to talk about the end of the year lists, because we are at the end of the year right now, and several have come out. The one I'm going to actually talk about is the IndieDB Indie of the Year, and then I'm going to sort of give you, hopefully if I can manage it, some of my lists here that I've collected. But first of all, the IndieDB Indie of the Year, they've picked these are like the Player's Choice top 10 games, indies of the year. Number 10 on our list was Rogue Legacy. That's a procedurally generated castle romp, I guess, 2D romp, where you are a knight and you have offspring, and as you go into the castle, you fight as far as you can in the castle, and then when you die, your offspring then takes over and has to pick up where you left off and actually go, well, not pick up where you left off, but actually go into the castle and try to make it further. See how far you can actually get. And each offspring that each person in your heritage has like a different personality quirk to them that causes the game to be a little bit different based upon the character that you're playing and what you're doing. So that's pretty cool. I haven't played it, but I have seen video on it, so that's how I know a bunch about it. Number 9 on our list was Outlast. That's the horror FPS thingamajigger that probably 9,000 YouTubers have played. I've watched it. It's it's a thing. It is what it is. I'm not a big horror guy. I tend to make fun of all those games, so you won't see me do anything with horror unless I'm really, really drunk and really ready to go all Mystery Science Theater 3000 on it. Number 8 is Tales of Maj Ayel. I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly. Apparently this is a roguelike RPG with turn-based combat. I have never played it. I have no idea. I've never even heard of it until I looked at this list. So there you go. I will leave a link to this whole list so that you can see everything. But yeah, that's number 8. Number 7, Path of Exile. This one I have heard a bunch about. I have not dug into it myself, though. This is a free-to-play with microtransactions, Diablo-alike game. Probably closer to Diablo than Diablo 3 actually was. So it's a lot of players are raving over it, with good reason from what I've seen. If you're really a big fan of the original Diablos, this really brings all that back into life. And it makes it multiplayer, massively multiplayer at the same time. So, sweet on that. Number 6 was Into the Dark. Again, I have no idea. There's very little even description of this game, so your guess is as good as mine on that one. Number 5 on their list, the Stanley Parable. Everybody seems to have this game on their lists. TB had it on his list as well. All I can say is they're all smoking something. That is my assessment. I would not have that on my list of anything. In fact, I do not have it on my list of anything. It did not hold my attention for longer than a half an hour. And even then, there was a few moments when there was a chuckle I could get out of it, but most of the time it was just, why does this even exist? Number 4, Space Engineers. I still have to get into this game. I have not done so yet. I tried to, but I was utterly unable to figure any of it out. I have to watch the videos still. But I am excited about that. I want to see what that's all about. I will jump into that at some point. Number 3, Kerbal Space Program. This is one of those games where I think I would enjoy it. From what I've seen, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there of it. I don't know that I will ever record myself playing it. I might actually buy it and download it and actually play it, but I don't think it'll be anything I record because it's just not. It takes a long time to do anything in there from what I've seen, and it's kind of one of those things that might hold my attention for a little while and might not. I'm on the fence about it. Number 2 on their list was Contagion. That is a first-person shooter horror game. I don't know anything more about that other than what I just said there. And number 1 on their list was Starbound, which obviously I know quite a bit about, and I agree wholeheartedly with. So I decided to come up with a few lists of my own, just picking like 3 games in each category that I think are deserving of mention here. Now, you should note that these games do not necessarily have to have been released in 2013. It's just games that I've played this year that I loved or thought was meh, or that I am anticipating. They were announced this year and I'm anticipating them. So on the anticipation list, first of all, I am wholeheartedly waiting for Ethereum. I love that game. I cannot wait until that is released. I think it'll be terrific. I have the beta. I haven't played any of the beta because I don't want to actually ruin the story for myself yet. And I definitely want to record it. So I've only been playing the simulator mission so far on that. Another one that I'm anticipating, Star Citizen. That just goes without saying. I just gushed all about Ethereum. You damn certain I'm going to gush about Star Citizen when that comes out. And the third one on my list, Starpoint Gemini 2. I've played a little bit of that, played the alpha. I like what I see so far. I think it's going to be a really cool, fun game. I cannot wait for that. I really want to get my hands on the full game there. So that will be terrific and awesome. 3 games this year that I love. Soul Zero, obviously that was a completely out of the blue. Did not expect that I would love it, but I do. Evo Land, something I did not record, but I enjoyed the hell out of. And Star Conflict, something that you'll see a recording of today, actually. 3 games that I thought were meh. Mirror Moon EP, I've mentioned that before. Strike Suit Zero, I did not like at all. And Minor Wars 2081. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode.